And there goes the camera.
Thanks, Corn.
He's knocked over the camera. It looks mad funny on the thing.
Get your head out of the way. This is a disaster.
God damn it.
Yeah, we're all right. All right, let's start up the episode. Welcome. I'm over here. Let me adjust myself. Welcome to the Memo, where we spew a lot of nonsense and we get no views. So it's Monday, January 21st, and it's the day after the conference championship weekend of the NFL. And it was, it couldn't have lived up more to the hype, in my opinion. So, why did it pause again?
It's paused. Can you fix it?
Is it low power mode or something? Yeah, it's all right. How we doing? All right. So we're going to talk about the conference championship games. Then we're bringing back the Stamper Shred this week. We got a few statements we want to go over. And then we're going to finish it off. We got some questions from our fans about a lot of things. Not really, but it was mostly sports. So let's start off with the first game that happened, which was the Rams-Saints, and there was a lot of controversy here. You guys wanna take over? You got something to say?
Start us off, Masados.
Saints played a pretty good game against the refs in this one. Good game.
Amazing game.
I thought it was a great game. It was kind of slow, I thought, until the end.
No more you can ask for. Overtime conference championship game rematch.
Yeah, the ending was entertaining. I didn't like that the refs really blew it in that one, but
yeah, that was crazy.
You know, two evenly matched teams. I'm not complaining about the Super Bowl matchup at all. It's going to be great. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
So right now our live stream has 2 viewers, and Alex and I are both streaming it.
That says a lot.
That's rough, dude.
You know, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn the damn thing off.
But what are we talking about?
The Rams and the Saints.
Getting all fucked up right now.
That's a big shot to the ego there.
Yeah. Should we just stop the show?
It was a good game. When it was 13-0 Saints, I was really scared that it was going to be another blowout.
Yeah, you guys were saying that.
Yeah, but luckily with Goff at the helm, they were able to reel it back in. I'm pretty sure did they trail the whole game up until the end? I don't know if they ever took the lead there. But they made it close. They made it competitive towards the end of the end of the first half. And I do think that the better team won. I don't think that they won in the best way, but I think that at the end of the day, Rams Patriots is going to be a better game than the Saints Pats would have been.
Really?
I don't like the way that the Saints have been playing the second half of the season. Ever since the Dallas game, they haven't been the same team. They
have slowed down a bunch, but I thought they did what they were supposed to do. They put themselves in a position to win at the end of that game there, and if the refs don't, get involved in the outcome of the game, I think the Saints win. I mean, I think 100 times out of 100, the Saints win that game, and I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that the refs missed that call. It was blatant pass interference. I think anybody in their right mind could have made that call, and I just don't understand. Why isn't there more news about who that ref was that blew that call?
He's got to get fired. There's no shot.
Yeah, absolutely needs to get fired.
Wasn't there 2 refs standing there looking at the play?
It was an egregious penalty on all accounts. The cornerback didn't even turn around to play the ball. He absolutely just decleated the receiver before the ball was even close. Yeah. And no flag is called. Like, what?
It was rough, and I definitely agree. Obviously, that changed the game. The Saints should have won. I'm glad the Rams won. We were both rooting for the Rams, so I'll take it.
But it is true that once the call is not made, you have to just deal with it, and you have to do what you can to win the game, and they obviously didn't do that.
I think 100 times out of 100 is a little exaggerated. You kick that field goal 100 times, you're bobbling the snap, you're getting blocked, miss once.
let's like walk through it though. So how much?
Okay, 99 times.
How much time was left on the clock?
95.
How much time was left on the clock when the penalty was not called? Was it 1:40 something?
Yes. They kicked the field goal with 1:26 left.
Okay, so 1:26 left, and the penalty was on what? Third down.
Third down. So that made it 4th and 10.
So there was 1:26 left when they didn't call the penalty.
Right.
So the Saints get that first down. They run one play. Rams call timeout. They run 2 more plays and run basically the whole clock out. You're assuming at this point they're going to hit the field goal. So you're saying that just be like off chance it's not going to be 100%. They'd botch the snap, whatever.
If you kick it 100 times, you'll probably botch
yeah, but
that's an exaggeration.
Just assuming they hit the field goal that they should hit, they would have won the game. I don't think there's any question about that.
And also they have Kamara and Ingram in the backfield. There's a very good chance they score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Curious decision by Sean Payton on first down to pass the ball.
Yes. Yeah, that was very terrible decision.
Yeah,
I was astonished by that.
I don't know.
Forgot about that.
I don't know
honestly.
if Breeze audible did or that was the design.
Was that
call.
the play that the receiver dropped the screen pass?
No, it was like a slant, right?
Yeah, it was to Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
There was definitely a play
that was
down
bad.
the stretch there where the receiver dropped the screen pass that would have taken some time off the clock, or at least forced them to call a timeout.
I don't know why they didn't run that.
Well, the Rams had the one timeout. No, they had 2 timeouts, right? Then they throw on first down, incomplete to Michael Thomas. Then whatever happened on second down, and then the play without the penalty.
Yeah, so they burned one timeout. They had a timeout.
Yeah,
on their
they
next
got
possession.
a timeout from the Saints, basically.
Yeah, definitely some
weird.
questionable play calling. But
I thought it was a great game. I mean, just the fact that both games went into overtime is making me overrate the game. But
it was a good game.
Yeah,
the whole game is just tainted, which sucks.
Yeah, and it sucks for Rams fans. And I'm sure they know that.
They don't care.
No, they don't care. But it sucks that that's obviously going to be held against them now. People are going to be like, you shouldn't have even been there. Just an annoying thing that you have to deal with when you should be celebrating the win. But in the end, if they win the Super Bowl, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter unless Commissioner Goodell steps in and makes them replay the game, which he does have the power to do, right?
yeah, that's in the rule book. Michael Thomas was calling for that. It'll never happen.
It should not happen.
It shouldn't happen. I said this to Matt off the air before. It will never happen anyway, but the only time you could enforce that if it was literally the last play of the game, should have been a touchdown and they called incomplete or something when it was clearly a touchdown. Like,
I don't even think they would do it.
They wouldn't. No, they still wouldn't do it, but that's the only time it even makes sense.
In this
you can't
situation,
just do it when the whole rest of the quarter and overtime was played out.
Yeah, like they could have blocked a field goal, so you can't just restart the game.
So what is it? Is it he can just rescind the
I think they'd
win?
have to play the game.
They have to play. It's not like he can be like, I'm reversing that call.
No.
Okay.
It's really a pointless rule.
It'll never
happen. It would be absolutely ludicrous if it happens.
But that was the first game. Rams Saints. I'm very happy with the result. I'm sorry, Mom. She loves the Saints, but it just didn't happen. Wasn't going to happen once I switched around my pick.
With giving the ball to Todd Gurley 4 times.
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
I hate to get all harped up on the refs, but like, it's just, this is your one fucking job. Like a peewee football ref could have made that call.
AI, right? We need AI.
All right, AI.
You said you wanted the AI.
I think it could be used. I mean, if Jacob's right.
I think it could be used, but if it all was AI, it would clearly ruin
You don't
the game.
need AI. Just be able to review it. You can go back, look at it with your eyes, and say that's pass interference.
And we're gonna get into that, right?
Is that a question?
Oh yes, it is a question. So we won't answer that too much right now, but
yeah. So we'll get into that later. But
artificial intelligence, baby. It's the new move.
It's not necessary.
No, I don't think it's necessary either. And like he was saying, like it would involve sensors. Like, are they really going to invest all the money just for that?
Why they don't have enough money?
Just get better refs.
The NFL owners are collectively worth what, like $1 trillion?
Yeah, but they don't. That's the thing. They won't care enough to be like, we'll put our money into it.
Hire better referees. That's all you need to do.
Is it that easy?
Ridiculous that happened.
Yeah. All right, so the next game.
I want to see the ref. I want to sit the ref down, have him look at that play, and have him explain himself.
He probably would just say, I fucked up.
I want to see the look on his face, though.
You don't think he would say,
I want to know how much he was paid.
I don't know.
I mean, look, the ball got there at the same time. Incidental contact.
I want to look at his bank account.
Oh, come on. There's none of that.
This is what, I don't think the NFL is rigged, but this just gives those people who think it.
So what would have happened if he didn't collide into him? They would have had another way to rig it? They just had that
that's
perfect
the only
opportunity
thing,
to
that's
rig
what
it.
I always think when people bring them, especially in basketball, where you think they're like when they make shots, you think that all right, I'm going to make it this time. Like if
I don't
they hit a
think
game winner
that.
or
I'm
something.
just saying it gives the people who think it nonsensically. It just gives them ammo to continue this stupid argument.
Happen? They hit the field goal. The ref, no, it didn't go in.
What you were saying would be more of an issue of the ref himself accepting money than the whole NFL being rigged. If the ref just went on his own and had an agenda, you never know.
That would still be rigged, though.
It's not like they wanted
It would be rigged. It wouldn't be like the NFL is planning out the season like WWE.
Watch your mouth.
It would be rigged.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing that WWE does it, but that's what people who say it's rigged, that's essentially what they're saying. And they're saying all these how many players are on the final roster, let alone when they start training camp. You think they would have to let all the players know that it's rigged, right?
They wouldn't do that.
Well, that's why it's not.
Well, the way I picture it is they have an agenda and they let like the refs know what their agenda is, and then they just try to influence it as much as possible. But I don't think it's rigged. So
I don't know if you don't think it's rigged, but we'll never find out, will we? All right.
No, it's rigged.
It's not like they want the LA market in there. They don't have fans.
They're just gonna make it Boston, LA in every sport. Lakers, Celtics, NBA championship coming up.
Nah, that's next year. So the next game involves a Boston team, since we just said Boston, LA, obviously. The Patriots and the Chiefs. This was the better game of the two, in my opinion. I'm sure you agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. It's nuts, man, what this guy does. And it's nuts that every year, I don't care what you say, every year the same thing is said. They don't got it. They're not going to do it. What are you giggling about over here?
It's not that funny, Cornfeld. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah? You done with that?
That's funny.
All right. So as I was saying.
It's about you. It's big time about you.
What's about me?
I'm kidding.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. Thanks, man.
We're talking about Chiefs,
me.
Pats.
Oh, yeah, the Chiefs. I was saying I don't care what you say about Brady and how you said that nobody says the Pats can't get it done, this and that, and then they come into play. Do you remember when you said that a few episodes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, they proved you wrong.
Okay. Belichick's a good coach. What do you want from me?
Dude, he
shut down the Chiefs in the first half. They had 65 fucking yards.
But Brady still did exactly what he had to do.
Would they have 7 points at halftime?
14.
14-0?
They won the game. He threw for 350 yards.
Yeah, nice. Good for him. He had the ball the whole time.
And that has nothing to do with him playing well.
It's got a little bit to do with him. He
didn't make absolutely insane throws.
What absolutely insane throws did he make?
That play where
he had a nice touchdown
guys were coming off the edge and he stepped him up in the pocket. It was literally the size of my hands right now, and he flicked it between two defenders.
I don't recall
the throw to Dorsett was beautiful.
Yeah, he makes nice throws every now and then. Every quarterback does. Belichick is the reason why they're so good. They brought up two perfect game plans against two of the best teams in the AFC. They never had a chance.
Still need to go out there and play.
If any other quarterback was the quarterback of the Patriots, they wouldn't win the game.
I don't know if you can say that. I'm not getting into hypotheticals like that. Who knows?
But
he wasn't touched. If he's not pressured, he's not touched, he's not sacked. He hasn't been sacked in the 2 playoff games. The offensive line is great. Defense came up big in both games, and Brady does what he has to do. What?
I think you're ridiculous. But whatever. Great game by the Patriots. Great game overall. And
it's 70-30 Belichick.
70-30.
That's right.
Dude, he's the best. He's one of the best.
Belichick didn't bring the team back down from 28-3 all by himself.
He's arguably the best athlete of all time.
I don't disagree with that. He's the greatest football player of all time as well. His resume speaks for itself.
So does that mean every other player is just not that
great?
So
he's the greatest football player of all time, and it's still 70-30 Belichick. All of their success.
Yeah, he's the greatest coach of all time too, by a long shot.
What is your reasoning for this?
I'm watching him design perfect
You haven't been watching
game
him
plans.
for the past 17 years, just winning.
Who, Belichick?
He doesn't even
and Brady
doesn't call the plays or run the offense.
Were you watching him when he threw 50 touchdowns?
Mike here.
Push this thing forward. Push that. Spread the 2 out like some legs.
Sorry. You do it. This is what happens when you talk to me about Brady. I get all flustered.
What were you saying, Alex? Were you just saying something? Jesus
Take
Christ.
the camera off me for a second.
All right, me and Alex will talk. This kid's
I was saying he has some of the best numbers of all time. He threw 50 touchdowns in a season. I think that was the record at that point in time.
It was.
Yeah, who passed it?
Peyton Manning when they had the most stacked team in history.
For a second.
What does
Why,
that
Peyton
even
Manning
mean?
never had a good coach?
John Fox? Where is he now?
Tony
Where is he now? He's an
Dungy?
ESPN analyst.
Tony Dungy?
Also
Was
an
John
ESPN
Fox
analyst.
the
He's
head
old as
coach
fuck.
of that team?
He's probably how old is Belichick? He's probably older. Belichick wants it more. What'd you say?
John Fox was the head coach of that team?
No, I think it was Kubiak when they won the bowl.
Yeah, when they won.
So
but
your
the year
so
they
your
was
lost.
only
famous
reasoning for Brady not being as much of the contributing to the success is that you've watched him.
No. I'm not
Give me
saying
something
I didn't say I
concrete here.
watched. I didn't say I
I've
didn't
been
mean,
watching.
I didn't mean that I watched Brady.
some Michael Jordan highlights too.
I don't know what that means, but I didn't.
I don't think
didn't
he's
mean,
the greatest for no reason with no substance to my argument.
Is that true?
Yeah, I watched him.
All right, good for you, dude. You didn't. First of all, you didn't watch him like we've watched Brady. It's a different era. So
I'm
that
watching
just,
greatness for
Yeah, I'm
every
watching
year for my
greatness.
whole fucking life.
So am I. I'm saying that what I meant was when I watch Belichick, he has
How
a
good
perfect game plan every single big game. He comes out, he finds your weakness, and he just exploits it, and he completely shuts it down. Not even your weakness, he'll attack your strength, too. Limiting Tyreek Hill to one catch. Mahomes had 100
What happened the
yards
one season that Brady went down?
Went to overtime. It's not like they destroyed the Chiefs. It was a good game.
What happened the one season that Brady went down? They didn't make the playoffs.
They went 11-5.
They didn't make the playoffs.
Come on. That's
Clearly,
an
Brady
anomaly.
is contributing to the success.
They could have went 11-5 with Brady.
They probably would have went like 15-1.
Yeah, you're dealing with hypotheticals.
Probably would have won the
seeing
Super Bowl.
Belichick go draw up the game.
It's not really a
plans.
hypothetical though.
Saying if
it's
Brady didn't
what
get hurt?
happens the one year that Brady didn't play, they didn't make the playoffs. He's also constantly audibling plays. Like he's basically a coach out there.
And he has to execute what the game plan is.
Belichick assists with the game plan as much as Brady does. Like Brady makes Belichick's job easier for Belichick, but like Brady makes Belichick's job easier, and
Yeah, they work perfectly together, obviously.
so why isn't it 50-50? Why is
Because
it 70-30?
I think Belichick would be more successful without Brady than Brady would be
They
without
didn't
Belichick.
make the playoffs.
They went 11-5.
They didn't make the playoffs.
They went 11-5 this season. Different shit happens out of your control. It's
They
the
weren't-
only
they
11-5
weren't good
team to
enough
not
to-
make the playoffs.
They weren't good enough to make the playoffs.
Okay, shit happens. What do you want?
How far do they go with Matt Castle that year?
I feel like it doesn't even matter about that year.
It doesn't. I didn't bring it up.
It's the
But
one. It's the one instance where Belichick was coaching without Brady.
No, I know. I get why.
We can go back to when he was the coach of the Jets and he quit after a day.
Go back to his time with the Browns.
Yeah, they sucked.
Yeah, it's the last time the Browns made the playoffs.
All right, we're not saying
They didn't suck.
We're not saying he has nothing to do with it, but just to say he is almost everything to do with it.
70-30.
That's way too much, dude.
I don't know.
Whatever. We should talk about the actual game then. So the Patriots beat the Chiefs in overtime. And what do you have to say about the game in general instead of just Brady? You got anything specific?
I thought the Chiefs were going to win. I picked the Chiefs, and I'm done picking against Brady and Belichick. Done.
That's pretty
I'll keep
pretty much
doing
the story of our lives. What about you?
I'll
Anything?
keep picking against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Not
not
gonna
lose.
It's easy. It's easy to say I was the one who called it when you say it every time.
Well, you know what? One of these days I'll be right. I'm not going to show my hand for the Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens.
It's just volume. It's a volume shooter.
If you hit some, you miss some.
What are you going to be 1 for 800 from the
20%.
field? Not even 20%.
But that one
The
shot.
one time he's right after he says it after
You're gonna
years.
feel good about that?
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was obviously a great game. I picked the Patriots and I was rooting for them, but I was getting nervous towards the end. Like I was like, wow, the Chiefs really look like they have them here. They had all the momentum.
If D Ford isn't lined up off sides, they win.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy. That's
it's-
such a fucking mental mistake. Just
And,
line up off sides. Are you kidding me?
yeah, when they showed
They
it,
picked the ball off.
like the line is just like going through his
so
middle section
bad.
of his body. Yeah. Oh yeah, they did pick the ball off, right? Wow.
It wasn't
Must-
even like a free play deep ball. It was an 8-yard slant that they picked off.
Did it get tipped
It was
up?
off of Gronk's hands.
Yeah. So offsides
sucks.
or not, like that could have happened.
Yeah, well, I thought the Chiefs were going to win this one. I just thought the offense was going to be too much for the Pats, and obviously they had a great game plan. Just handing the ball off, running out the clock, eating up clock, running a lot of plays. I think me and Matt were talking about this off air, but I think they outnumbered the Chiefs' plays like 92-56 or something like that.
97-52, yeah.
97-52. So yeah, that's really impressive. And I just thought the Patriots weren't going to be able to shoot it out with the Chiefs, and their offense slowed down towards the end of the season. And I didn't think they were going to be able to replicate that game early in the season. That was in Foxborough, I believe.
It was.
And yeah, the Patriots just proved me wrong straight up.
It kind of goes back to something we said many, many moons ago about will the Chiefs' defense come back to bite them at some point. And in the end, you go to overtime, and the Patriots drive right down the field and carve them up. Literally almost no chance to stop them there. Came back to bite them. Mm-hmm. So we got a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl.
That was yours?
Yeah.
Rams-Patriots Super Bowl coming in 2 weeks, and we're not going to give our picks. We're going to save that for the week of the game. Keep you guys waiting. So
it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope it's a great game. I'm picking almost slipped.
Whoa.
See that? All right, let's move on to the Stamp or Shred. Bringing it back after.
It's died.
Oh, it did.
Can I plug this in here?
R.I.P. Yeah, you can plug it in there. Bringing it back. We haven't done the Stamp or Shred in some time, and we have it on our hats. How can we not do a Stamp or Shred and have it on our hats?
For the assist.
So we got the first one, and it's about a team that I'm a big fan of. They're probably my second favorite team right now.
Are the Rockets?
What?
No?
No. We might even leave that one out now. The Brooklyn Nets are a playoff team, and as of right now, they are for sure. They're the 6th seed. They just demolished the Kings earlier today. They played at like 5 o'clock. Why?
Martin Luther King Day.
Oh. I keep forgetting it's a holiday. But, yeah, they were actually losing when I first checked into the game, and then I guess they just blew them out in the 4th. I didn't get to tune in, but
they won by 30.
Look, I think they're legit. I mean, it depends who they catch in the first round, but I could see them winning a playoff series.
I think they're good, too. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They have a pretty balanced team. They have a little bit of everything. Great shooter in Joe Harris and some other good shooters. Rim protector in Jared Allen. D'Angelo Russell is playing out of his mind. They're as close to they're 4 games ahead of the 9 seed, and they're 4 games behind the Celtics. So they're as close to the Celtics as they are a non-playoff team. So I think that's pretty interesting. I think they'll make the playoffs, and depending on who they draw, I think they can maybe win a playoff game series, at least win one or two games.
LeVert will probably be back by the playoffs, and he's arguably
I think he's going to be coming back soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that he didn't Gordon Hayward himself, because it looked like he did.
Yeah.
And it just ended up being dislocated.
Like, he's not that good, but Crabbe plays minutes, and he's been injured.
He's bad.
He's a good shooter.
He's a good shooter.
Inconsistent.
He's good for their system.
I don't know.
You can never have enough shooters in today's
NBA. He would have come off the bench, and they have a pretty deep team. And if he doesn't fit in,
they have that rookie
Karooks.
He's good. Yeah, he's been pretty good for them.
Once they put him in the starting lineup was when they really took off. Honestly, once was it when LeVert got hurt? I'm not sure. It might have been a few games after that. But what about you, Matt? You think they're a playoff team?
I don't know. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Just I don't think that they're gonna make the playoffs this season. I think that they're hot right now. They're playing really well. All the guys are like clicking at the right time. But the way that most of the season has gone for them, they are streaky like this. They started out really bad. They pulled within like a couple games of 500, lost a few more. Now they're over 500, and they look really sharp. I just see all of these guys on the roster, like Harris and Dinwiddie, Russell, even Damari Carroll. Like most of them they're pretty inconsistent. A lot of them will have like a 20-point game here and there, then they'll be quiet for another game. And there's just too many guys on the team that I think go hot and cold. I think that, I think that that's a recipe to not be able to keep it up for like the long haul. I think that they have a lot of potential. They're a young team with a lot of young talent. I didn't even mention like Jared Allen and Karuk's. This guy, he's good. I think that they're a year or two away from really being a threat to make the playoffs. They're hot right now. I think there are a lot of teams in the East that are underwhelming. I think like the Pistons and the Wizards and the Heat, I think that they're better teams than the Nets. Like, all
the
around.
Wizards lost Wall, though.
That's big.
And they haven't even playing well with him.
Getting LeVert back will be big for them to see how they all play together now that they're all playing well. But I think that they're too inconsistent to keep it up.
I feel like it's hasn't really been the story of their season being streaky. They started off the season pretty well. They were hovering around 500. I think they might have been a few games above 500. Maybe they might have been 8-10, something like that. They were 8-10. LeVert gets hurt, and it seemed pretty demoralizing. Like the team looked like in shock after it happened, and they're all clearly like great friends, great teammates, and I think it really like hit them pretty hard, and it.
I mean, right after the game, they realized it wasn't that serious. It's not like they were all shell for games at a time.
I'm not saying they were shell, but like they started to go on a little losing streak after that. I think it was a big blow to them, and especially the way he was playing. This damn phone. I'm gonna wait till it stops. Oh, it stopped. The way he was playing like the best player on the team, and then he goes down, and then lineup shift. You gotta go to someone else in the clutch. Like a lot of things change, and they went on an 8-game losing streak, I think, and then after that they won 9 games in a row, and now they're 7th. They have over the past 22 games they have the best record in the NBA or something like that, and that's more than half the season. I feel like that's more than just being streaky. There was one section of the season, those 8 games, where they really weren't playing well, and other than that, they've been playing pretty well.
Yeah. Only thing that gets me a little bit worried about this team is they don't really have veterans. Like good veterans.
Yeah, I mean, Damari Carroll, he's like a good leader, but he's not in terms of scoring and actually playing. He's not. Yeah. He's not nothing special.
They have no one to. I mean, like D'Angelo is pretty good in the clutch, but he'll have to prove himself that they can go to him when it's crunch time and when they're struggling.
And he's even been fixing his inconsistency issues. Really, I mean,
he's been great.
You sprinkle in maybe a bad game here and there, and it's not even costing the team wins. Like maybe he's just having an off shooting night, but he'll still rack up assists. He'll get boards. Like he still directs the offense, and he should be an all-star this year, in my opinion. And he's getting buzz. He's getting buzz. I mean, who could you put ahead of him in the East? Kyrie and Kemba.
Yeah,
maybe that's it right now.
That's probably it.
Simmons.
Do they put him in as a guard, Simmons?
Yeah, he's a point guard.
I don't even know if he's having a better season.
He'll get more votes than D'Angelo.
He's more popular, but
I think Russell will get in.
You think so?
Maybe as a reserve.
Yeah.
It'll most likely be as a reserve, but I think he definitely does. He won Player of the Week this week.
He's definitely playing well enough to be considered for an All-Star. Yeah.
He won Player of the Week, and then he dropped 31 today. So we'll see. But I'm stamping them. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. I don't think it's a fluke that they're playing this well. I think it's over too long of a period of time, and I think they're all bought in to what Atkinson's trying to sell them. I think they've kept around. It's pretty much almost the same team from last year, aside from a few players here and there. And they play the system well, and they're just one of those teams. They play with the system, they play hard, and they get wins. And maybe they won't do anything special this year, but I think they're good enough for the playoffs.
One thing I think we should mention is how it's pretty remarkable that they're competing right now compared to a few years ago when people pretty much wrote them off as they made some of the worst trades in NBA history.
It probably was the worst trade in NBA history.
Yeah,
I've never agreed with that.
Dude, they gave away all of their guys who were over the hill for years already.
That team was good.
That was a Knicks
move. They lost in the second round.
That was a Knicks move, and it's good that they
made the splash. They just moved to Brooklyn.
They didn't have anything to show for it, though.
And in hindsight, at the time it wasn't like nobody. I don't think at the time it was
whether
as that bad. They were going for it.
Whether it was the worst move of all time or not.
It was definitely viewed as bad at the time.
Whether it was the worst move of all time or not, it put them in a terrible position to possibly be good in the future. And Marks has done an incredible job turning it around.
Yes, that's true.
He has hit the mark on some of these draft picks, these late round picks.
I mean,
turning into good players.
They essentially got a second round pick when they traded for Russell. It was like they drafted him. They gave up Lopez, who was the best player in their franchise history probably, in Brooklyn at least. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't going to do anything for you. You get a young, up-and-coming
He's a good
second
role
overall
player.
pick. Yeah. I mean, they've developed LeVert into a really solid player. Joe Harris and Dinwiddie almost out of the league. Like, they took chances on them. And they're getting the most out of them. And, like, I think him and Atkinson are just really on the same page. And they're really good at developing players for sure.
Yep.
That's something the Lakers have a big issue with.
Yeah, and also we should know that
Makes me very upset.
They have a max contract slot open.
They do.
Could be making a play for one of these big free agents.
I don't want them to get Kawhi because I want the Lakers to get Kawhi. But if they don't, I want the Nets to get Kawhi, which won't happen. He'll probably stay in Toronto. They could.
A lot can change.
A lot can change. I mean, you never know. But I think I feel like Tobias Harris would be a reasonable target for them.
Yeah, he's good. He's young.
A good player, and he fits like their unselfish sort of everyone's involved type of play. I feel like if he leaves the Clippers, but they traded Blake for him, so
it goes back to what we talked about last episode. The Nets attracting big name free agents is going to be hard for them. Being second fiddle to the Knicks, a team that also has a bright future, also has max contract slot.
Mm-hmm. But they're somewhat like if the Knicks get they have 2 slots or they only have 1 at the moment.
One at the moment.
You said they can scheme something.
They're looking to trade Lee. If they can get Hardaway off the books,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like a long shot. But
let's go by it right now. They have 1 slot. That's 1 player. There's a whole and then New York still attractive destination.
They have
the
to
Knicks
make
aren't
a splash.
Yeah,
so they have to sign some people.
I don't think it's hard. I don't see teams even like considering the Nets as an option.
Who have they signed in
No one.
recent years?
I mean, they weren't really good.
They weren't active in the free agency, but
I don't think they were looking to be active in this past free agency.
No, that's what I'm saying. They weren't looking to sign free agents, but
it's still New York.
There's so many teams out there.
Yeah, but then you could say that about how many of those other teams are that attractive? I mean, they're still in New York, and you always want to talk about market. It's still a big market, no matter even if the Knicks are there.
It's not nearly as big of a market.
But if the Knicks aren't an option,
I don't think the market is even that big of a deal these days.
It's not.
If it's a player who wants to compete soon, and the Nets end up making the playoffs, then I mean it depends on the values of that specific player. But I can see somebody wanting to join the Nets.
I think it also goes beyond that. They're the Brooklyn Nets. Like they have a good organization set up. Like someone could just be convinced that this is the place for them. What if they see the players on the team? They could be like, it's a good team.
But they
like
would have
what they hear.
Like the way that NBA players have been thinking these past couple off seasons, they go and play with other superstars. Like, nobody's really I'm going to go here and I'm going to be the guy and I'm going to lead this team to a championship. It's not like the way that they think these days. And they want to team up with other superstars, get that immediate top team in their conference, compete right away. It's tough for somebody to just sign up to be, like in the middle of a rebuild and be that final piece.
How many teams have that option to sign a superstar and already have a superstar that aren't the Lakers, or if the Knicks free up a slot and happen to sign 2 of them? How many teams have the capability to do that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
And if it's somebody who, it looks like D'Angelo Russell could develop into a superstar. He could be one of the so-called 3 that you need.
Any team can make space too. We've seen that before.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think it's as unattractive as a destination as you might think.
It's definitely not unattractive.
It might not be
you have to be attractive.
Yeah, I think they can make a nice pitch to some guys. Like I think if they do get someone, it'll be a guy like Tobias Harris, who isn't a superstar, but he's probably an all-star in the East. And maybe they won't win a ring, but it'll still make them respectable. And if they're a good team for a few years, then that even just gives them more credibility at that point, and they're in New York. Yeah. Something will happen if they continue on the path they're on. Yep. But yeah, so that's so I'm stamping them for the playoffs.
I'm stamping them as well.
I'll shred it for this season.
That's our shredder noise.
Disappointing. What happened?
All right, we got
for 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, we'll bring him back.
Your dad would be very upset with you.
I know. I'm gonna show it to I'm gonna show him this later.
Russ, I'm with you, man. We just don't have the paper, so there's nothing to shred. What do we got next? What are we?
We're continuing with stamp shred, right?
So yeah, we got
Tom's question.
Oh yeah, so this was actually posted on our Instagram as a question, but we're gonna use it for this segment. It was Alex, do you have it like written out or something, or do you have it in front of you?
I can get it up though.
It was basically in response to what happened with the Saints and Rams game with the egregious non-call of the penalty. Should the NFL change the rules? Like, should you be able to review a penalty, especially one like that where it's so blatant that it has to be called? It was along those lines, right?
Yeah, I think it was sent to your Instagram.
It was actually, but it was along those lines. You should be able to review a penalty or challenge a penalty, either one.
I mean, I'm not going to get into like the specifics of it, but something like what happened at the end of that Saints-Rams game, it was a clear penalty that's clearly going to very heavily affect the outcome of the game. You need to be able to go back and say, we missed that one. You know, why isn't it just like a reception or a touchdown? Why can't a penalty be reviewed? I just don't understand it. And, I mean, you want the team who plays the best and deserves to win should be winning the game, you know? So this is clearly handicapping your ability for that to happen. Yeah, there needs to be some change.
I think it should just be for certain penalties, like that one specifically. Like, I don't want people challenging a hold, like an offensive holding, like stuff like that. But there are definitely plays where there should be the option to at least challenge it. Maybe not automatically reviewed, or maybe it has to be within the last 2 minutes or something at the start just to see how it works. But I feel like something people will say that no one wants any more stoppages of the game anymore. Like, there's so many.
If it's just challengeable, then a coach only has a certain amount of challenges. It doesn't, a coach isn't going to waste a challenge on like a hold. I mean, you can also just make that non-reviewable, but if you can challenge a penalty like pass interference, then you're just using your challenge on that instead of what you would use it on something else. So it's not slowing the game down at all. And a call like that, they're going to go to the booth for 2 minutes and say, that's clearly pass interference, and then we're going to get on with the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, how do you determine if it should be reviewed or not is my question.
You'd have to challenge it.
Last 2 minutes?
Just challenge it.
But we're saying if it was only challengeable and not just automatically reviewed, then, Alex just gave the whole reason why that's not a good idea.
Why?
Because then it may happen over and over again to the point where it's stopping the game, taking away.
But no, you have a certain amount of challenges. It's the same thing with incomplete passes. They happen over and over again.
We're saying, in what instances would it just be automatically reviewed?
No, it wouldn't.
You have no challenges left. Not even the last 2 minutes of the game?
Oh, if you're out of challenges?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last 2 minutes. I guess it would be the same thing as turnovers.
If the rule was you could only challenge it, and they were out of challenges, you're saying they should still be able to review it because it's within 2 minutes.
It just do the same thing as any other challenge ability.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I'm with that. I would stamp that. I think specifically with that rule, I don't know what other rules you think would be.
I said like
challengeable.
False starts and offsides, things that you can clearly tell, and like things that are able to be missed. I think.
Yeah, just look at what happened in the Chargers game.
Yeah, there were those instances in the Chargers game where the offensive lineman clearly moved before the ball was snapped.
It would take 30 seconds to review that.
Yeah, it's not hard to tell.
Also, while we're on the subject of that, there should be someone who, like, they shouldn't have to have the refs on the field run over to the side and make the decision. Like, shouldn't there just be someone already getting it done and starting to watch it so they don't have to waste all this time with the guy going to look and watching it himself? There should just be someone whose job that is.
And also, that was the Charger one when it was so obviously a false start. They scored a touchdown on that play when scoring plays are automatically reviewed. If you see during that review that it was a false start, why not just get the call right?
Yeah, and
just like, oh no, we can't reverse it because it's not what we're looking for.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You see it, like just do it.
That's true. Yeah, I never really thought about it like that.
Right? They reviewed the play because every scoring play is reviewed, no matter how obvious it is. They just look at it, I guess. But that's why you would look at something like that, make sure there were no penalties.
When they're reviewing it, they're probably just like,
they saw it. And like, well, look at that.
Look, it's still a touchdown.
I'm sure.
What's the reason? What would be the reason for not changing that?
Because controversy is good for the NFL, and I'm sure this is getting the NFL a lot of publicity, and they're probably loving it right now. And they'll probably just go change it now, had the controversy happened. It's a big story. It's good for the league. Now they'll probably change it. They're very reactive.
Get the call right.
Leagues.
If we're on the subject of rule changes, we didn't get a question about the overtime, did we?
No, we didn't, but we could talk about that.
Yeah, since it's pretty much in the same
Yeah,
boat as that question. Overtime, do you think the other team should get the chance even after a touchdown is scored in overtime? I actually brought it up to my old head dad, and of course he doesn't think they should get a chance.
I don't think that they should get a chance either.
No? But why not?
Elaborate.
Make a stop. A field goal, hold them to a field goal. You get the ball back.
But you win the game by scoring. You win the game by scoring. You don't win by getting a stop. So why
not? What do you mean?
You should have the opportunity.
You
to
can win
score
by
as
getting
well.
stops.
It's like in baseball. Like there's the top of the inning and there's the bottom. Like if it was like you could say the same thing about baseball. Like don't give up a run. Is that how you would want baseball to be played? Top of the inning, you can score and then the game's over.
I guess that's a good point, but I mean that's just like fundamentally how baseball is. It's different.
Fundamentals.
I don't know. But I also think just you can't have a football game going back and forth, like scoring like these guys.
Happen. It would end eventually.
Who knows? I think, and then like
Someone's
I said,
going for two, but then it could still be after that. Would you still want it to be the next score wins? If you say you give the team the chance to match, but then after that, would you want it to be still sudden death?
I think both teams should have the same amount of possessions.
So even if the Chiefs got the ball, scored, Pats get the ball again, score another touchdown, the Chiefs have another chance.
Yeah,
I think that's
somebody
ridiculous.
would get a stop. It's the NFL. It's not college.
Yeah, and then so then they'll go back and forth getting multiple stops, and then you have a 6-hour game. These players can't be out on the field. So
what do you mean multiple stops?
No, what if they each get a touchdown and then nobody scores for 10 minutes? Then someone gets a touchdown, then they come back and get a touchdown. The game could never end.
It would end eventually.
And then when you're playing from behind and you need to score a touchdown, every possession is 4 downs. Changes the complete. It just changes the root of the game.
It's the same thing in baseball. So why?
I don't think I don't think it's similar at all.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's just the way that there is a set amount of innings.
So why aren't they? Why? I just don't understand.
And that's part of your home field advantage.
But it's home field advantage is an advantage because you have the fans there rooting for you, and you have momentum when you score touchdowns and get big stops. It shouldn't be a fundamental advantage of the structure of the game.
And also, the NFL is so in favor of offenses now.
You think that home teams shouldn't get last licks?
No, because that gives them. Then it would be the same amount of possessions for both teams. So it's fair if the first team doesn't score and the second team does, it would be fair that that's a walk-off because they have the same amount of possessions in overtime.
I get the point. I just think baseball's a different sport. Every sports have different rules.
But it's the most fair thing, in my opinion.
And also in a league where it's going more and more towards offense and everything is giving an advantage to the offense, it's just putting so much pressure on defenses to perform at a high level in that situation. It's just everything is always going against the defense.
It's definitely
always such high pressure when it's so hard to play defense nowadays.
It's much better now.
Keep someone out of an end zone.
It's much better now than
and how often does it really happen? You see teams get field goals, make turnovers, punt the ball.
But that's
I was looking at the stats today, and it said the home team or whoever wins the coin toss wins exactly 50% of the time. So
doesn't seem like a problem.
But it is. Because
seems like it almost has no bearing on the outcome of the game.
Of course it does. Pat Mahomes didn't get to touch the ball in overtime. I think that's fucked.
His team let him down.
Should have a chance at redemption. There's redemption for a reason. The outcome of the game shouldn't be decided by a coin toss.
That it wasn't though. It wasn't. They played the game. They could have stopped them. They could have made a stop. That's just the nature of football. Don't let them score.
But you're just giving the team that wins the coin toss so much more of a chance to win.
But not if it's 50-50.
But that's just how the numbers have turned out for the last however many seasons. It's been in effect for 3 seasons? These overtime rules?
Yeah, so maybe if the team who won the coin toss won 80% of the time, then it's a problem. But it doesn't seem to be an issue.
It went into effect after Favre threw the pick against the Saints, and the Saints won in overtime on the field goal. Yeah, so 7.
It just seems fair to me.
Wouldn't that have still ended the game?
It did end the game back then.
Wouldn't
the field goal ended the game.
Why wouldn't a field goal?
Favre threw a pick before, and it went into overtime, and then the Saints won. They got the ball and kicked the field goal.
So the pick was in regulation.
Yeah, and then the Vikings never got a chance to score after that.
No, but they changed
that was the
rule.
worst play of all time, the fact that they threw that ball.
But they changed that rule anyway. A field goal is stupid because teams can get to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep them out of the end zone. I don't think it's that hard of an ask, and teams obviously do it all the time. I think it's just instant reaction.
No,
bias,
I've always
whatever,
thought this.
I've thought it too.
But it's only brought up in like mostly
because it just happened.
Like this. Exactly. So I think
it's just a good time to bring it up. Because
I don't think it's an overreaction at all.
I mean, and
it just seems fair to me.
Like,
why shouldn't the Patriots scored?
It's not like they scored the Chiefs weren't on the field. They're half of their team couldn't stop them.
I understand that, but the Chiefs are expected to make a stop, right? And the Patriots are expected to score.
Mm-hmm. That's
so why not flip the switch and just have it go the other way?
I think
where the Pats should be expected to make a stop, and the Chiefs are expected to score. You should be able to do both.
Why shouldn't both teams be expected to do the same thing to get the win?
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you guys are saying. I just don't think it's really that necessary.
And also, if you're talking about the length of time, how often would it really happen? That it would go on forever?
Who knows?
Probably not that often. Probably once or twice a year, maybe 3 times.
Why? If it's a shootout like that?
How often do games go in overtime?
You see it in baseball all the time. Games go 17, 18, 19
How
innings.
Often
that happens.
Different. It's way harder to score runs in baseball.
Okay, but then if you score, then it's easier to match.
Wait, what?
In football, if it's easier to score, then it's easier to score for both teams. If somebody scores, then it's easier for them to match it.
It would be essentially the same rules if the first team just didn't how often does the team who possesses the ball first score a touchdown? How often does that happen?
50% of the time. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's not what the stat is.
But it's obviously not that often.
But once the first team doesn't score a touchdown, then it just becomes regular overtime. So it's not that big of a change. Understand?
What's regular overtime?
If the first team doesn't stop, if the first team doesn't score a touchdown, they kick a field goal or they punt it or they turn the ball over, then it becomes sudden death. Yeah. So on the very few instances that the team with the ball first scores a touchdown, that would be the only time that this rule is, or our proposed rule is in effect. So it's not that big of a change. It just seems fair to me.
No, it is a big change, though.
Why?
But then
the game wouldn't go on forever.
It would go on probably way longer than they do now. Football games would take a fucking. Obviously, you guys know that it's not easy to go out there and play 5 hours of football in 10-degree weather. And then that's how, especially when it's going like that and defenses are so fucking gassed, that's how it happens when you score back to back to back.
Offenses are just as gassed.
It's easier to pick apart a defense that's wounded than an offense.
The offense gets wounded along the way as well.
I think, but like you saw it with the Chiefs, they were already gassed and they couldn't stop Brady. So what would they? It would have just kept going, and then somebody makes a stop.
How can you say
the
that?
other team makes a stop. Who knows what would have happened? It could keep going. This is a way to set up.
If Ford doesn't line up off sides, it just becomes sudden death, and it's fine.
That was in regulation.
Was it?
I thought it was in overtime.
No, it was in overtime.
It wasn't? Was it for the Patriots to kick the field goal to tie it?
I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
But no. It was for the Patriots to go ahead.
It would have been that easy. If they stopped the Patriots on that first drive, it would have just been who scores next. So it wouldn't have gone on forever.
Okay, but what if the Chiefs don't score? Then the Pats get it, they score. Then the Chiefs score. Nobody scores.
I don't know. How often are the games exactly parallel like that?
It
happens not that often,
but it's as often. I think it would be as often as it happens in a game like baseball, like you're saying. Games go
Baseball's totally different.
I think that they're comparable in the fact that team's ability to score is parallel.
It's so much harder to score in baseball, especially in extra innings.
Exactly, and it's easier to score in football. I think football games would be more high scoring when defenses are gassed and offenses are able to go for it on fourth down when every single play, every single set of downs.
You're saying with the team that got the ball second could just have 4 downs?
They would go for 4 downs every single time.
Yeah, but if they don't get it, the game's over.
Okay, you get 4 downs, it's easier to score than 3.
I just think it makes it more fair, and it's a minor thing.
I think it's a major change.
I don't think so.
I don't know. We'd have to see it implemented.
I don't think it would be that different.
I don't think it would affect it that much. It might be a few games a year that I was trying to look up how many.
That would be so
games
entertaining to see teams go back and forth in overtime.
You could see sloppy ball.
It didn't look sloppy to me in overtime.
Also, it would only.
It didn't go on for an hour. It was one drive.
What? But the teams play sloppy games all the time. They're not entertaining.
Dude, I don't know if I want to watch a 6-hour football game of teams just scoring back and forth.
You really think that's going to happen?
It opens the door for that to happen.
If the game went on for like 3 overtimes yesterday, that would have been so fun to watch.
They would maybe if they shortened the time of the overtime.
Time is pretty much irrelevant.
At that point with the scoring?
Playoff football time is pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, because...
It just creates, like, stoppages.
But I'm talking about in the regular season. Because it would have to be implemented in the regular season, too, no?
Why would you shorten the time? You'd have to extend the time. Time would not... Time.
But then that would solve your problem of the game going on too long.
But then the team with the ball second would just run out of time.
They would run out of time anyway in the regular season. Or it would just end in a tie.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be any problem with the games going too long in the regular season.
In a playoff football game, that would do nothing but make it more entertaining, I think. And if it's like a regular season game between like the Jaguars and the Titans, then like, okay, yeah, maybe that game would suck and it would go on for a long time, but
it wouldn't go on. It would just
end
after the 15-minute quarter.
It would still end in a tie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. I don't know. I don't think a change is needed.
I just think it...
Until they do it.
I would have liked to see Mahomes get a chance.
So would I. That. Chiefs should have stopped him.
So me and Alex stamping it?
Come on.
Was it they should be changed, right? Well, that wasn't even the stamp shred, that rule, but I'm stamping it.
You guys are just like, don't think the Chiefs should have made the stop?
I mean, they should have, but why shouldn't the Patriots have to make a stop too?
Yeah.
So they took the ball and they scored a touchdown.
They shouldn't. The only reason they don't have to make a stop is because the coin flipped on the right side for them.
And they went down and scored a touchdown.
The Chiefs
could have had the chance to do that. The Chiefs didn't have the chance to do that.
Okay, they had a chance to stop.
It's easier to score a touchdown.
It's just the way the rule is. I think the rule's fine.
Easier to score a touchdown than make a stop, in my opinion.
Is that true?
With those offenses?
The Chiefs have one of the worst defenses in the league. Most teams, and that's why that stat is how it is. Most teams can make stops. You see teams hold them to field goals, force punts, make turnovers all the time. You just got a bad defense caught up against Tom Brady. I don't think you need to change the rule because you can't make a stop. That's how I feel.
Just don't like how the coin flip affects it.
Yeah, it gives the team that gets the ball way more of a chance to win, but it doesn't. It's 50-50. I keep saying that. Whatever.
So that just proves it.
I don't know. There's got to be more to that stat.
It doesn't prove anything. It's just what's been happening for the past few years. Couldn't change.
All right. I guess
there probably hasn't been enough of a sample size of overtime games to determine who has the better chance to win.
But it's all you have to go off of, and it doesn't seem like it's a pressing issue right now. Stats major today.
Would have been nice to see Mahomes.
Yeah, it would have.
I do agree with that. I'm sad Mahomes didn't get the chance to have the ball. Everybody wanted to see that. Make the stop.
All right. You want to move on to the questions we got?
Yeah, we can do some questions.
All right. How many we got? 2, 3?
We
didn't do James Harden.
I don't want to talk about him.
I don't want to talk about him.
All right.
He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league.
All right, we want to talk about it.
You know who?
He's the best player in the league right now.
He's the hottest player in the league.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league right now.
Keep the looks out of it, all right?
He's hideous, but he's hitting shots.
He's a good-looking guy.
He's
got
fine.
a big beard.
It's not like LeBron would have been playing better.
He's got some
than Harden
teeth that
if he was not hurt.
I didn't say that. Does that mean?
But that's like obviously the caveat here is that LeBron's hurt, so that's why Harden's the best in the league.
He's just scoring the most.
I think
Average
if
8
LeBron was
assists.
healthy, he still wouldn't be playing as well as Harden.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But does that mean he's the best player because Harden's playing well?
He's the best player in the league right now.
He's just playing the best, but he's not
the best player in the league right now.
No, he's not.
He's the best at playing right now.
I don't like the question.
The act of playing.
I don't like the way it's being formatted. I think it's rigged.
LeBron's not playing at all, so
it's rigged. I didn't say it. Did I say it was LeBron?
It's not D'Angelo.
I didn't say D'Angelo.
So fucking speak.
Do I have to say who it is?
Who else would you say? You said Giannis. You said
it's
Harden
a
was MVP over
pretty
Giannis last
obvious
season.
answer who it is.
LeBron.
Lou Williams.
No, you do the fucking.
All right.
You're gonna tell me
On
it's
to
not
the
Lou.
questions. Let's do some questions.
Lou.
So
Are we gonna do some questions?
Yeah, we're gonna do some fucking questions.
What were you looking up here?
I was trying to see how many.
What were you looking up?
How often do NFL games go to overtime? Maybe I thought there'd be an average of how many times per season because you were saying it would cause too many
Richard's
long game
calculating
issues.
the confidence interval.
There's a lot of overtime games.
I wanted to see how many.
What would it have helped with?
Because you were saying the games would go on for too long, so I wanted to see how many times that would come.
Obviously, the ties would come into play.
How many times do playoff games go into overtime?
Probably not that often, but I mean,
remember
what does that prove? I don't get it.
Because you had an issue with the length of time. It wouldn't be an issue.
But when they do go to overtime, it would be very long.
That would be fun to watch.
The rare times they would be like, "Oh, nice."
Matt would be sitting there jumping up and down.
If the Chargers got to have a redemption in overtime, he would be hyped.
I don't like to sign up for sloppy ball.
Why is it sloppy?
When the Chargers
some
lose,
sloppy ball from the Chiefs defense. I want to watch that for 20 more minutes.
You don't know what would happen if it's just that drive.
Mahomes probably would have scored.
How many? What about any scoring drive or any other stop?
We'll
it's
talk
just
to
that
Matt,
one
we'll
drive.
talk to Matt when the Chargers lose just like this in next year's playoffs.
Cheap shot.
Calling
Jets
it now.
2021.
You
To
know
the
the rules
Jets.
when you play the game. Make the stop.
What's the question?
It's not a surprise. Oh, I thought we were going to get the ball.
Rules aren't always great. All right. Anyway,
Question.
first question from Jeff Rizzo from
Hello,
our
Jeff.
friends over at Top Shelf.
Hello, Jeff.
Oh yes.
If your son/daughter was a
Son,
natural was a natural born athlete, what sport would you want them to play?
He's gonna be the best shooter in the NBA.
I honestly didn't think about this one yet.
I'm giving him a basketball the second he's born. I got to get his hands used to the grip.
I would pick soccer. I would train him from very young. You can get so much fucking money if you're filthy. Go play in Europe.
You can get enough money
You're in
playing
excellent
basketball.
Shape. Every single soccer player is just naturally good looking. So they're just like you're an instant stud.
Factor in that it's your son though, so
Okay.
Yeah,
well, you know
that's
what?
the genes coming into play.
Once
are
me and my
not
wife
the
get
best.
married,
yeah.
take care of that.
Awkward.
Yeah. I'm definitely going because the money at that
who you
point
are.
it's enough.
That's hot.
At the money at that point it's enough for me. I mean, is he gonna give me some money? Do I get money from my son for being an
What are
athlete?
you guys gonna be
bail
on
on
good
you.
terms, or are you gonna be a fucking deadbeat father?
No. So here's the thing.
Why would he give you money?
We have to assume that's the path he wants, though, or she. What if she doesn't want to be in the NBA and I'm saying I want her or him? No, but I would pick the NBA because I just think it's the coolest sport to be good at. Because if you're a filthy basketball player,
Yeah, that's sick.
No,
Basketball's
a filthy
cool.
soccer player is cooler.
no one cares about.
Nah.
I think it's cool.
I don't want him
It's
to
the
be-
most popular sport in the world. No
Not
one
where
cares
I
about
am.
soccer.
Is he gonna?
Not
is
where
he
I
gonna
am
move
right
me
now.
out
Go
to
to-
Europe?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
soccer.
go live
it
in
is.
Europe.
I'm staying here and I'm watching. I'm getting courtside at Staples Center.
So you're gonna LeVar Ball him up to the Lakers.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job. He got his son drafted second overall.
Yeah.
Now he has a grade 3 ankle sprain,
Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks
So-
to his dad.
One of the most
You
criticized
know,
players of all time.
there's some bumps in the road.
Is he one of the most criticized players of all
At
time?
that, when it was in its peak, and even his youngest sons now are just hated on by random people with
LiAngelo,
Pulls up from half court.
watch out for
LaMelo.
that kid.
Lakers 2022.
LiAngelo.
Is LiAngelo the good one?
No, it's LaMelo.
LaMelo,
Did I say LiAngelo?
He said
Doesn't he have like the most Instagram followers ever?
LaMelo?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's up there.
No shot.
I really think he is.
Doesn't Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez have number one?
He has a lot of Instagram followers.
Ronaldo did pass him?
Because he's a famous soccer player. My son will pass Ronaldo.
What if it was your daughter?
My daughter would pass Ronaldo too.
Why are all these soccer players getting involved with like tax evasion?
You saw Chris Hansen got arrested?
LaMelo has 4 million followers.
Swear.
Fucking liar.
That's a lot for a high school basketball player.
It's not nearly the most ever on Instagram. Nowhere even close.
I'm pretty sure
what
it's
does he
a
have?
lot for his age.
That's not what you said.
Chris Hansen.
Clearly
4
exaggerating.
You know who Chris Hansen is?
It's not a lot at all. Yeah, I know who Chris Hansen is, the fucking Red Zone guy.
Sorry, I don't spend
No,
my
that's
life
Scott.
on Instagram.
That's Scott Hansen. Chris Hansen.
He's got a lot of followers?
No.
The Red Zone guy?
Listen, the guy from To Catch a Predator.
Okay.
He got
How's
arrested.
his Instagram looking? For what?
For tax evasion. He owes like mad money.
No, it was
Yeah.
I thought, wasn't it like bounce checks?
Yeah, bounce checks.
They do it in
arresting him for that.
They do it in
So
soccer players
stupid.
do it because
Just tell him to stop.
Yeah. Hey, stop. Fine. Won't do
He
it.
probably would.
I don't know. Apparently, it was scheming people in a Kickstarter.
yeah, you
That's
can't,
king
you
shit.
can't just tell him to stop. Everyone would just
Give
do
him
it
a
once.
slap on the wrist.
Wait, what did you said basketball?
I didn't say anything yet.
So, what is it?
You gotta
Baseball.
fucking pull everything out of this.
Yeah.
guy.
You got to
I
personally.
told you I didn't think about it yet, so I
Baseball?
needed some time to think about it.
baseball?
Yeah, baseball.
Why baseball? You want him
hard
to
to
be made
make
fun
it.
of?
It's American. Well, as long as he doesn't play lacrosse.
Oh my god. Ugh.
But yeah,
That's the
baseball,
one thing
America's
I want to allow myself to
game. You got the chance to make a ton of money. Now that the owners are all colluding to give players smaller contracts, I don't know about it. B-ball it is.
I'm definitely going basketball.
Just not football.
And then because you know when
You're just gonna.
like
Football
players
should not be a sport.
You know when players have their dads.
We wouldn't have a podcast.
Football should not be a sport.
Out of your mind.
It won't be a sport in 25 years.
Yes, it will.
We'll
as
see.
long as people want to play it, it'll be a sport.
You know when
You gotta
You
be
know when-
insured. See all this stuff with these insurance companies backing out.
No.
People don't want to cover these insurance companies don't want to cover the expenses for football injuries.
They just raise the policies or whatever it is called. Just make it more expensive.
But
To
nobody's going to want to play if their sons aren't insured.
No, I'm saying you would have to pay a higher for the insurance to balance out the risk.
No, that's not how it works.
Well, the insurance companies would just make it more expensive.
But if they don't cover it, you just have to pay out of pocket for all the medical bills.
There's no
Hardly.
value that would make it worth it for insurance companies to cover it.
Not in high school.
Oh, they do that in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the league.
They're saying it might be the downfall of football.
really
Yeah.
I'm bleeding on the live show. So I was saying about the NBA.
That's
You
what
know
happens when you get tossed around the table all night.
you know when players' fathers played in the league and they're like, and there he is in the stands. That man was dunking all over the place, but then they'll show me and they'll be like, that man didn't do shit his entire life, but now he's mooching off his son's money.
It's well documented his son hates basketball, but he didn't give him the option.
Play some baseball. I like the culture of it.
Yeah,
Good,
Whack.
clean sport.
yeah. Soccer's like that too.
What a terrible person you are.
Is soccer like that?
In like the player
I
community.
feel like none of the players are friends in baseball.
What would you ever know to make that claim?
I see what I see in the dugout. I see what I see.
They're
You don't see
boys.
shit. You don't
Everybody
watch
just
the
hated
sport.
A-Rod.
Boys.
The absolutely baseless claim that was.
Where's the chemistry being built? Nothing cool's happening.
You ever seen the toe cam?
86 Mets are all still best friends. That's
They're
true.
probably
They don't
annoying
fucking do
about it
crack
too.
Together.
Yeah, that's true. Doc Gooden did an AMA on Reddit recently, and somebody asked him who the life of the party was. Keith Hernandez, not a surprise. That cokehead.
So are you baseball or
nice.
NBA? Or you're gonna
Nice
flip flop the
contribution.
rest of the time?
Baseball.
Did you see this kid flip flop in a matter of
I mean,
30
I want my
seconds?
son or daughter
So
to play
accustomed to
whatever makes them happy, just not football.
Way to go. Take a stand on that one.
Yeah, now let's go on to the next question if we're going to get to these issues.
Soccer.
All right, Richard, where's Nick Foles going to end up?
We're going to break
season?
out a soccer segment sometime soon once the Champions League rolls around.
Maybe.
It's going to be
You got the garbage over there? We could do it right now.
Ha! It's good.
You like that?
Fucking put a Band-Aid
Richard.
on.
Yeah. Just bleeding on the...
We got a question from Mike Lombardi, Lambo, the king.
Lambo.
What was it, the
doing?
Nick Foles?
Lambo, whenever you want to do
fan
Lover's
favorite.
Lane, I'll put you in the dirt. How about that?
Oh, my
Is this the Nick Foles question?
I'm just kidding. You would probably kill me.
Played college
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, I know. He would kill me. I'm kidding. He's a king.
One of the kids at SantaCon.
So, is it the Nick
football.
Foles question?
Where is Nick Foles going to end up next season?
Jaguars will overpay for him.
Interesting.
I could see Jacksonville going for him.
It's a
I don't think
good landing spot, I think.
I don't think the Giants are going to be involved for him.
No.
I don't think that's the route to take for them.
They
I
have
kind of
Eli.
think
Yeah.
they. I don't know if they will, but I think they should. I think they should cut Eli. They could save a lot of money doing that.
You'd have to sign Foles for around the same amount.
They'd have to sign Foles. I think if you could sign him to a 2-year deal. Do you
I've
think
also
he
been
gets more than
hearing-
2 years?
I don't think he wants more than 2 years. They've been saying that he doesn't want to play that much longer. He almost stepped away from football
He's a
before the Eagles signed him.
He's such a savage.
Yeah, if he
Just gonna-
retires, that'd be so boss.
He
Just
should.
29, just stepping away.
won a
No
bowl.
reason to. He would
No.
just know he's not that good.
Yeah. He'd be like, I can't let him see.
He
Just
should
let
just
the
sign a
aura
big
just
contract
leak
and
itself
coast. He should sign a big contract, coast,
For
get
2 years.
benched, get your money.
He already did that.
Yeah, he did do that.
Did he sign a big deal? Yeah, right.
It wasn't that big, but it was
Well,
like a
with
decent
all
deal.
these
Starting
fucking
quarterback money at
loopholes.
the time. No, but that was when he went to the Rams.
with the Rams, yeah. But yeah, I
That
said
was weird.
the Jaguars.
Yeah, I could see Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's a good landing spot, I think.
Maybe Denver has tied up with Keenum, and Lambo's a Denver fan, so I don't know if
Miami?
you want Foles or not, but you're stuck with Keenum.
Yeah.
Miami.
No, they're gonna draft one. Like I said on the last episode,
Yeah.
they need to redo that whole
But-
thing. They're not patching up the quarterback position.
They won 7 games?
Why not just keep Tannehill if you're gonna get Foles?
Who's even their head coach right now? Did they get one?
No,
I don't know.
right? Wouldn't you just keep Tannehill?
Yeah.
He's probably better than Foles, right?
Is he?
But he
They
doesn't
probably, I
stay
think they're
healthy.
like the same.
Yeah, you might as well, unless you just want to switch it up.
He's never
Yeah.
healthy.
Necessary.
Yeah, so I'm going Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's a good landing spot, but is that where you think he's going to end up?
What was that?
Is that where you think he's gonna end up?
That's where I think. Well, I don't know
It's
if
a
there's
tough
any
question.
worried about anything. I'm just gonna go with Jacksonville. I think that'd be a good spot for him.
But they're in a good spot to take one of the top quarterbacks in the draft.
You don't think they probably think they could take
But
advantage
these-
of their current
And also these quarterbacks
talent?
these quarterbacks look like they're projects too. So it might be
If
Might
they're
be
still trying to
beneficial.
win now, then yeah.
which I think they should be. They need some weapons, but
Is he better than Bortles?
Yes.
yeah. Bortles sucks, man.
What would have Foles done with that roster?
More than Bortles.
I'm sure their numbers are pretty comparable.
What about the size of their
We all went on. We all like what?
how big?
BDN.
Bortles has never had as good of a
I
season as
don't
Foles
hear
had
any
that 1 year.
BD
Fuck
Blake.
that year, dude. You cannot bring up the 27-2. That's not who he is. So it doesn't matter.
I don't
That-
hear anybody
You
calling
think you
him.
put value in that season,
It's just better than any season Bortles has had.
but it's not the player that he is. He would. It's not an option for him to do that again.
He's still better than Bortles.
I don't know. And most of us
I don't
agreed
hear anyone
to
calling
a
him
certain degree that
BDB.
well, they call. I mean, hey, he's the people's quarterback, so he's got his own name.
Okay.
But
He
we
thinks
all
Bortles is
said
good
that
still.
that Bortles was not the main issue with the Jaguars.
Even
right?
Bill knows.
Bortles is still good. You're so stupid.
What's his
Even-
first name?
Fulani, are you okay? You're really pale right now.
Oh, yeah, no. It's the lights.
It's definitely the lights. They make us all look pale.
I'm not
We-
like, obstructed. Wait, hold on. It's because I took my hat off. I've been wearing that for 3 months.
But what I was saying is the Bortles was not the main reason that the Jaguars were bad. We mostly agreed with that.
I agree with that.
His weapons are terrible. Fournette couldn't stay on the field.
They're
The
clearly
defense
look-
let them down. I think Foles would have had the same kind of season with the
They're
Jaguars.
clearly looking to move on, though.
No, yeah, they are. They are. But I think that the draft would be the best way to do that, or get like Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
You think
Sucks.
Foles is better than Flacco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
Do you think
talk to me
Bortles
about
is
him.
better than Flacco?
Yes.
No.
Really? So it's
I don't know.
Foles,
Don't talk to me about
Bortles,
either
Flacco.
of these
It's
irrelevants.
All right.
Irrelevant.
But when you're talking about the Jaguars, that's the topic
My
of the
computer's gonna die
conversation.
soon.
Don't now we're getting a little away from it.
Well, no, I'm saying that there are options out there for the Jaguars that might be better than Foles,
We'll see.
like a Super Bowl champion.
That's pretty much it.
Foles isn't a Super Bowl champion.
Shit. Scratch that. Sorry,
That's a
Yep.
drop right there.
I took that L.
We got another one.
We have an irrelevant one.
Is that the one from Jeff again?
Yeah.
We really have a lot of fans, don't we?
Yeah. We
Let's-
could answer it quick.
Let's hear it.
All right, Jeff Rizzo, thank you for the second question. Number one fan. If you were to see one artist or band live, dead or alive, who would it be?
You gotta go. I gotta go with the Beatles. The full
How
Beatles.
How were they live?
I just want to. I would want to go to one of those concerts where.
I want an
or I would just go to
analysis
Woodstock.
on one artist or band.
I'm
Is
pick-
Woodstock a band?
It was a concert. I'm changing up the question.
So 300 bands.
You know how much
Going to
traffic there was
Woodstock.
to get to Woodstock?
What? Yeah, it's
I can't go to
That's not
enough.
an
Woodstock.
option.
You can go to Woodstock for one set.
I could go to Woodstock. I'll go for one set. Hendrix. Is that where he performed the national anthem with the guitar?
No.
What? What's the attitude?
I don't know.
He was the biggest name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where he did.
All right,
the
I would do the
stupid
Beatles.
national anthem thing.
Stupid national anthem thing. Jesus.
I
would
wish
see,
I went to a
Lil
Lil Peep
Skies.
concert.
Really? Is that your choice?
Thank you, Cornfield.
Lil Peep. Take a Lil Peep show.
They don't have to be dead.
I understand that.
I would definitely do the Beatles
You
in their
gotta pick
prime.
someone who's dead.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
I'd pick Prince, I think.
The hell do you know about?
Purple
Act like
Rain.
He's one of those
They're
guys.
the greatest album of all time.
Okay.
Name 3 songs.
Purple Rain. November Rain.
Is that true?
No. What? He's a fucking legend. I would probably like his music.
He'd be cool.
Yeah, he'd be sick.
You haven't even listened to his music?
I've listened to Purple Rain before, and I've heard he's an incredible performer.
Listen to one song.
That's an interesting choice. One choice, and that's who you're picking. Someone
Yeah.
you've listened to one song of, just hoping that you like
I think
his
it'd make
shit.
the experience better not knowing the music, honestly.
If you're serious about that, then fine. But I think that that's
Let's see someone new.
lunacy.
I'm with Matt.
What, I'm going to go and...
There's no one that you like have listened to and been like, damn.
Most of
Gonna
them are
choose
alive.
someone.
Rocky, dude.
He sucks.
No, I've never seen Eminem live. He's up there for me.
I've seen him live.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
I guess Biggie, but like...
How is he as a performer?
You would clearly enjoy the Biggie concert more than the
Yes,
the Prince
yes,
concert.
easily.
Like Biggie more, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like seeing like a band and shit would be cooler.
You'd walk out of the Prince show, you'd be like, I should have fucking picked him. You'd be like, I had one shot and I blew it.
I would not. It would just be a sick experience. I'd know that.
Jackson's up
I'm
there.
not seeing
I don't want to
MJ.
see that child
Just look up
molester.
Oh,
Look up-
What?
Look up a
legend.
video of the moonwalk and you'll see all you need to
Do
see.
I have to buy tickets?
A legend.
No, you don't have to. You just get to see him.
All right,
Front
Prince.
row.
Give me Prince.
Jesus.
What's wrong with
You don't want to
Prince?
sing along or
There's
something?
nothing wrong with it. It just
I feel like you're setting
shocked.
yourself up for
I
possible
would
failure.
I would have a great time.
Did they?
You guys listen to Bach?
I don't want to see them perform. I just would want to see
You're
them
gonna sit in the
writing
fucking
music.
crowd.
You would just
with, like,
fall
a suit
asleep.
on?
You just fall asleep. Yeah, you probably
I want to
would.
go to one of those gladiator matches with the lions. Yeah, I want to go. I want to see like one of those lions attacking, and they have the sword and the shield, in like the Roman
That counts,
Colosseum.
I think.
What band plays that?
I don't know who.
The Gladiators.
Yeah, the gladiators. I want to see a gladiator match.
That might be scarring.
Not back then. They were
Seeing
like,
someone
"Oh!"
die right in front of your face.
I guess I'm not used to it.
Have you ever seen someone
I
die?
can't even watch somebody twist their fucking ankle. You're gonna watch gladiators tear each other apart?
That's why I want the. No, but that's why I would rather the.
You'd
the
be throwing up all over the place.
It's probably
You'd have to be escorted out of
I
the
don't know.
Coliseum.
I feel like it was a fear tactic, if anything.
Give me a cup of mead and a meat stick.
I'm gonna become the biggest Prince fan ever in the next 2 weeks.
I would be like, his arm.
You're not that barbaric.
No, that's why I would put. I had an ACL tear, so I don't need to watch it because I experienced that shit, bro. I want to see them fight the lion. That's it. I don't.
Animal abuse? That's fuck. Dude, you can't even think of anything happening to Khaleesi, let alone watching a lion get.
I don't know the lion. I want the lion to fuck the guy up.
No, stop with that.
It's a little bit different. It's his dog.
Yeah, okay, but so what? I feel like
I'd rather see a lion die than Riley.
I don't want to watch a lion die.
I don't want to watch the lion die, but I want to see the atmosphere of the thing.
A bunch of dirty fucking old ass.
No, it's the
noble.
Only the nobles get to see the show.
That's not true.
Nah,
Not
but
true. There's peasants as fuck.
yeah, but I'm gonna sit with the nobles. I said the
Lil Peep.
Beatles.
I'm the only one who actually made a
Go
pick.
to one of his house shows, little nice tight venue.
What do you guys have to say?
About what content
I said
did
that.
you say?
Peep or Eminem?
I don't fucking know. I don't even know.
Okay, maybe I will.
Because there's so many different things. I guess
when's he
I'd want to
touring?
see.
Eminem in his prime with the fucking
Not a
chainsaw
person,
and the
not like a
mask.
singular
We don't
guy.
go
I
to
don't
that.
think there's anybody like that.
Yeah, I'd go.
I
to
want
one
to
of
watch
those shows.
Native American tribes people yeah, they're like the
Aborigines.
fire. Yeah, I
And
kind
they
of want
play
to
the didgeridoos.
the King Kong Island
no,
folks. I
fuck
bet they
that.
got some bangers.
Don't talk to me about those scary natives,
I bet they got some bangers.
dude. Those are my nightmares. Is that old woman from King Kong?
We got the 808s thumping.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
I like that.
You ever see that?
1 second, I'm playing my favorite Prince song.
Same guy did.
I'm honest. I don't even know if Alex knows who Prince is.
I know who Prince is.
What does he look like?
You want me to describe him?
No, I was just making a joke. Is that was our last question, right?
Yeah.
I think we should end it on that high note.
All right. So I want to wrap it up.
You wanna? Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. If you got to the end here, please subscribe on any platform. We'll really appreciate it. See you next week.